Lib Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to Lib Future TV.
Hi, Madam Gibson. It's good being here again, and happy new week as well uh, on this Monday.
Lavetta, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Happy New Week to you.
Yes, how was the weekend? How was the holiday, the Easter holiday?
Yeah, we give God the glory, even though I've been a little bit down small with fever, but I'm trying.
Yeah, Jefferson was sick too last week. How are you doing?
Well, yes, I believe that I'm strong now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lavetta, do you have any trending news?
Yeah, I have the training news for today.
Okay.
All right, so I can go ahead now.
Yes.
All right, today's trending news update. Liberians are questioning Bwaka's rescue pledge 3 years in, as unemployment and high prices persist while critics highlight officials' luxury spending. The government cites audits and long-term reforms, but hasn't detailed private outlays, feeding public distrust. In that climate, Alexander Cummings and the ANC have drawn praise for spotlighting job creation, agriculture, health, education, and tourism, offering what many voters see as a practical people first alternative. Liberia has first made in Liberia's tires as jetty 80 million rubber plant ramps up. Front page article toward Jetty Rubber LLC's sprawling facility outside Wiyala, where Jetty has converted former forest land into a 80 million United States dollars processing plant that could supply Liberia's first domestically made tires. Workers offloaded raw rubbers as machine hummed in the background, part of a plan that backers say will shift Liberia towards manufacturing and create jobs in nearby communities. Jetty, an Indian-born entrepreneur who calls himself Liberian but had described the project as a vote of confidence in Liberia's industrial future. Corruption trial of ex-minister Tuer hits as LACC witness factor. The 6.2 million United States case against former Minister Samuel Tuer Jr. stormed Friday when the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission's led investigator considered under cross-examination that the state had not traced how disputed funds were untimely spent. Program manager Baba Boka testified that roughly 1.55 billion Liberian dollars and 500,000 United States dollars moved in September 2023 for joint security operations were nearly legislatively appropriated, non-deposited into an official National Security Council account. Defense lawyers seized on the admission, arguing that without a clear money trail, the prosecution's narrative is weakened. The government says it will call additional witnesses to establish use of funds allegations. However, Alexander Cummings has pledged to curb corruption with a tech-driven approach, systems to track spending, expanding audits, and creating a fast-track court to handle cases quickly. And the agenda supporters say offers a practical, accountable path that stands out amid Liberia's craft concerns. Sanction fuels shipments pass concern in Monrovia. Authorities are holding urgent talks after Front Page Africa reported a Russian origin diesel cargo link to a Western sanctioned trader of Firat Navigation may be bound for Liberia. Maritime intelligence cited ship-to-ship transfer off Dakar with possible distribution to Liberia and Sierra Leone. Officials have not confirmed whether the cargo will enter Liberian waters, and the government's sanction compliance steps remain unclear. Indian traders warn that any link to a sanctioned network could jeopardize financing and insurance. FC Fascia president calls for calm amid LFA sanction rumors. FC Fascia president Cassio Koho urged supporters to stay peaceful April 3 after social media reports that the Liberia Football Association might sanction him, which also sparked calls for public gatherings. Koho said he violated no law or LFA statute and asked fans to refrain from protests that could escalate tensions or be exploited to provoke incidents. He pledged to pursue the issue through lawful channels and expressed confidence that justice will prevail, emphasizing discipline and unity over confrontation. LDA arrests a woman with tramadol kush at River G checkpoint. The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency arrested 39-year-old Beatrice Toh on April 3 at the Kelepo Kanwenking checkpoint in River G County after officers found 40 strips of tramadol and 27 grams of kush in her bag. County Commander Bill Cooper said the taxi from Monrovia was inspected routinely. Other passengers and the driver were released. The seized drugs were valued at about $395,500 Liberian dollars, and Toh remains in custody as investigation continues. Alexander Cummings has promised stronger border protection by training and equipping patrols, paying officers $300 or $400 per month, and drones to monitor movements. Proposals back us praise as a modern people-centered plan to bolster security and create good jobs. LPRA publishes a framework for pilot executive allocation of 4 offshore blocks. The Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority has released a framework for its pilot executive allocation process, which will award 4 offshore blocks to local and partners under Section 14 of the 2019 Petroleum Law. Applicants must pass pre-qualification for financial, technical, and legal capacity. LPRC says the framework and requirements are published to meet transparency commitments while building NOCA's capacity and securing value for Liberia. Government deploys armed officer to Nema Gold Rush Town, take sample. Liberia has sent heavily armed officers to Doale Town after a roadside rush for suspected gold shot businesses in nearby Tapeta and June Cross from across from across the district. The Ministry of Mines and Energy said residents reported that the discovery on April 3 along the Tapeta Grain Judea corridor. Rumors spread after use soil samples in Tapeta and Ganta and reportedly brought two motorbikes. Authorities have secured the site and taken samples for testing while urging residents to stay clear until results are confirmed. LAC Lac Road Rehab reshapes commerce and safety in Grand Bassa. The Liberian Agricultural Company is drawing praise from farmers and local officials for a road program that has reopened the Buchanan Compound 3 St. John River corridor, a stretch that regularly flooded and cut off communities from Big Joe Town to Compound 3. Under its Sustainable Road Repair Strategy launched in 2024, LAC has graded and reinforced key segments, easing transport of crops, lowering spoilage, and trimming travel times. Residents say ambulances and school trips are more reliable, while trader reports market days. County authorities call the effort a model of private support for rural infrastructure. And Dr. Dugbe Yan receives African Genius Award Medal in Morovia. Biomedical scientist and inventor Dr. Dugbe Christopher Yan has received the 2025 African Genius Award Medal and memorable ship from South Africa 5 months after his selection. The award recognizes his work in biomedical science and public health. And Homo, this strengthens my Pan Africanist commitment to serving my country, the continent, and humanity. Yan said in Morovia after the message delivered. Those were the latest news updates with me, Lovecta Davis.
Thank you, Lavetta. Thank you so much. Feel better, and we will see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So Jefferson, I was listening to the news that Lavetta was talking about, and she talked about they found gold. They possibly found gold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they sent the Liberian government to check on that and see, if there is gold. I mean, this country is so rich. As we finding gold in the streets of Nimba. So we definitely have a blessed country. So many resources, so many natural resources. She talked about Jetty opening a rubber factory, and what the first of its kind. So I think hopefully we'll see how that works. But Liberia is a country that has so many different resources. It has rubber, it has gold, diamonds, timber, minerals, and yet the people are not benefiting from their own resources in the country. And that is what is so sad about the situation, is that when you have so much, yet you realize so little of it, um, it just boils down to having bad leaders and bad management of your resources. And, I think that people thought that they were getting someone, Joseph Boakai, who would have experience for 40 years in government, who would be more mature, and who would be able to manage those resources in a way that the people would realize the benefit from them. But it's been 3 years and there's not been much of a change in the condition of the people.
Yes, and Jetty, as a matter of fact, is into um, rubber production now. He has a fact. He's building a factory, and he has already built homes where his those who will be working on a plantation, a Jetty rubber plantation, will be staying, and he dedicated that. And he also he has challenged the government that by 2028, Liberia will be producing our own tires in the country. But he challenged the government, that rubber should not leave the country now. It should be processed in our own Liberia, where we can be able to process the rubber and be able to produce our own tires. And it's a challenge to the government that he has given. He said once the government can do that, it means he now will be able, and Liberia will be able to produce their own tire, which is a very good one from him. And one of the news I captured from all of it read is about the protection of our borders that Mr. Cummings said. Security is very paramount in our society now. If you have very strong security force, all your border, your entry points, the various borders are well protected. And talking about flying drones over our borders and what have you. I mean, it helps protect our borders. It helps, you know, give our security, more knowledge, and where they can be able to sit and just fly the drone. They can see from a distance whether there are, people coming in to cross from any other point, which is a very good one. When you increase the salary of the security, and they are well paid, they have their families are taken care of, they have shelters and what have you, good accommodation, and they will be willing and diligently do their, serve the nation. And nobody will want to stay in the city now. Everybody will, most of them will say, okay, I'm assigned at Logatro border, Guinea, Ganta border. I'm assigned at Sierra Leone, at Bowatasa, That is, it's a good one, but we're in the country, security are not paid and what have you, then it becomes a challenge. So that's a good news. I mean, that's a good news that I've heard so far from Mr. Kumis again, talking about increasing the salaries of security, and using drones as well to monitor the various entry points of our country is a great one.
Yes. Now, all of these things that he is proposing, we have to take a look at the budget. And the reason why we have so much problems in Liberia, we can't get ahead, is because most of the budget is consumed by salaries of the lawmakers, of their travel, the executive's budget, the waste, the corruption. By the time they spend all the money, there's nothing left for drones. There's nothing left to pay the ordinary civil servant workers. There's nothing left to fix the roads. There's nothing left to clean up the trash. Um, you know, so there's two problems. Mr. Cummings said that we're not getting enough for our resources. We're not getting enough for the gold, the iron, the timber, the rubber. We're not getting enough. We're not pricing it as if we're looking at the world market to price it the right pricing. And then, so we're not getting enough. That's why he said he can increase the budget. But also, the spending, they're not spending the money correctly. They're wasting this money, and the money is not going towards agriculture. It's not going towards roads. It's just going, look at what is happening. I'm even seeing now, they're saying that the President Borkai, is building new buildings. He's buying property around his own property.
Mhm.
Then you had the Foya property he purchased and he's building. So what is happening? Why are they using the money for themselves to benefit themselves and their family instead of focusing on the problems that we have in the country? So Mr. Cummings said, number one, we're going to get more money in the budget because we're going to price our resources correctly. We're not getting enough for what we have in the country. And number two, we're going to stop spending this money on wasteful spending. The other day, they went to the border to FOIA. They spent $200,000.
Mm,
The legislators,
mm.
$200,000. I just saw the Senate Pro Tem and some other senators went to Morocco. They're traveling. All of this travel that they've done. They've been to China, they've been to Dubai, they've been to Asia, they've been to Europe. I mean, they've traveled so much, and you can't see what's coming back in the country from all of this travel. You know.
Yeah, and which is is a bad one, because if you have bulk of the budget just being diverted to lawmakers' salaries and their benefits, why we have, an economy that is struggling. Agriculture, the budget of agriculture is just a minute portion of it, and you have health and education to tackle. In the rural parts of the country, children continue to walk distances just to acquire education. Some, if they notice that, well, the distances are too long, the schools are far away from them, they just gets tired and feel that, well, let me just focus on farming rather than going to school. That's why you see many young people will just grow up in the rural parts of the country without education, because the kind of education that they should acquire was not given them. They never had the time to attend, good schools and what have you. So it becomes difficult and challenging for them. They just deem it necessary to stay, and then don't go to school. Just forget about education, health. People, again, um, you go to JFK, you have to pay for beds. You go to Redemption Hospital, you have to pay for beds. When drugs are being prescribed for you, you have to visit these people who are at JFK. They have their own private clinics that they will recommend to you directly. Go to Gibson Pharmacy, for example. That's where you can find this particular drug. Why is it that the drug is at Gibson Pharmacy is there, but it is not the pharmacy in JFK? So it becomes a very serious problem when officials of government, lawmakers, and ministers as well get the fat salaries. Then bulk of the people who who's stood in the rain, the sun, they went to campaign and all through, and they can't get, the results of the campaign. Then it becomes very difficult for them. People barely now live at least $100 a day now is a challenge. Yeah, I had the opportunity to have traveled, you know, uh, over the weekend in Grand Bassa, and it was interesting to note that there's a town there in District Number 5 called Swat Town. It has a beach, a very nice area of view for tourism. The ocean is there, and where people go to buy coconuts. And imagine they will put when currently they buy the coconuts, they put it on their head, they travel from the town is like 3-4 hours walk to come to the main road. And this is a county that has, that have benefited three proteins. Number one, we have the former and the late Senator, Charles Walker Bromskin, and then now Senator Milton Wesson. I feel he was pro tem during Madam Salih's regime, and then for 18 years, Senate pro tem Yombli Kangalore, she's been there for 18 years as senator, and she's pro tem. But that part of the country, of the county, the people have not seen what what we call vehicle, Four tires. God, they've not seen. It's just recently that motorcycles started reaching there, but they've not seen vehicles. So when there over the weekend, it was. I mean, it was an exciting news for them that, you know, Bility when they were Yeke Koluba and Bility, so that he promised to do rules for them at the end of this month of April. But I mean, it is so frustrating that a vote-rich county, a county that has made or produced three proteins, can still not have roads reaching in those villages, towns, where and it is a rich vote district, and we have a protein. So it's very bad. The budget just go to them. Only they and their families. Their children attend good schools, but the poor people here, I mean, they don't even care about them. Campaign time, election time, they go to them with a bag of rice, lie to them on false promises, will build schools, will put you on scholarship, and what have you. At the end of the day, I mean, all their hopes and aspirations, their expectations just go down in the drain. And that's just it, Madam Gibson.
Yeah, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here to talk to the Liberian people, because when I first came to Liberia, and I have traveled all over the world. I started traveling years ago, and I've been to Malaysia, I've been to India, I've been to Japan, I've been to China, I've been to all through the Caribbean, Jamaica, uh, um, Grand Cayman. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Panama. I've been all over. And what I expected to see in Liberia, I didn't see,
Mm,
because when I first got to the airport, I have never been to an airport where the employees would ask for money from
mm,
passengers. And that was shocking to me. I mean, they don't doing it in a rude way, but you know what it is. Hello, ma, how are you? My Christmas on you, you know. And then I got out of the airport and I saw people just standing around the airport, trying their best to help you with the bags. It wasn't organized. I was wondering what is happening. And as I drove around Monrovia, I see the little kids selling in the street. Now, you see that in India too. You see children begging, children in the street.
mm.
Um, but even in some parts of India, I mean, like you see the Taj Mahal hotels, and I mean, you see the luxury and the wealth in India in some parts as well. So I kept asking people, what is happening? What's going on? Why is it like this? And I started doing my own research about Liberia. And what I found was, prior to the war, Liberia was a leader in the region. Liberia had industries, they had exports, they used to fish. Liberia used to sell fish all over the world, fish, shrimp. Um, Liberia had these different public owned industries, and they were functioning, they were profitable, they were making money for the country. Liberia had the best, I think Liberia had the only five-star hotel in the region. I think Hotel Africa was like one of them, the only five-star hotels in the region. They had JFK, they had, hospitals. And this provided Liberia with security, because if you are sending your doctors, your nurses, your teachers to Liberia to learn, you don't want to be a hostile nation towards that country. Um, so I learned that after the war, the infrastructure was cut down, broken down, burned down, and it was time to rebuild the country. And you go back to the Sirleaf administration, where I believe the intention was good in the beginning, but I was confused as to why you will appoint your son at the bank and your other son in the ministry, of
Mm,
interior. This
mm,
this is a problem. This is nepotism. And how can a mother discipline her own child correctly for anything they do? It doesn't make sense. You can't That's why you can't hire your children to run the central bank, you
mm,
know. And then after the Sirleaf administration, 12 years, you saw so much come into the country, but there was a lot of corruption. Then the we administration came in, and they were the pro poor agenda. They were gonna advocate for the poor people in the country.
mhm,
And what you saw was Mr. Weah himself not having enough information and knowledge to manage the people who work for him, you know. So those people, they could go in there and say anything to him. Yes, sir, we're doing a good job. Yes, yes, everything's going good. Yes, sir, we're going to get this done. But does he really know what they're doing? Does he really understand the budgeting, the specific budgeting process at the Ministry of Finance, at the Finance Ministry? He said himself, "I'm not an economist," so he cannot understand what they're doing with the money. They're telling him what they're doing, but it's not that he can check himself to see what was happening with the money. And so the we administration, I think, had good intentions for the pro poor agenda, but again, it didn't come to pass because why? The leader did not understand the economics, the finance, the budgeting behind the government. And so that government, people were desperate to get them out. I mean, desperate to get them out. And then they voted for Joseph Boakai for rescue. And we're 3 years into the rescue.
mhm.
Okay. And once again, you know, LEC in and out. Schools. One school, there was a reporter that went and visited one school. There was one teacher from grade 1 through 6. Some of the children can't even afford to go into the school.
Yeah.
You know, the children are still selling on the street. And the hospitals, somebody gets sick, you cannot afford to put them in the hospital. What will happen to them? Then you have to go in the hospital to clean your own family member, to take care of your own family member, to watch their things, to make sure nobody steals their medicine from them. The same medicine they sell to your family member, they go behind them and steal it from them.
Mhm,
So, the system is broken in Liberia, and the rescue mission is not rescuing. I know that they're going to wait until the election time and try to do all these little things here and there to pretend like they've done something. But, we've run that story with the pile of trash at red light. It's getting so much now. Everybody's there running the story with this huge pile of trash there that just the people can't even see beyond it at this point. So, and I saw the mayor cleaning up on Facebook this weekend. I said, why didn't he go to where they have that huge trash? You know, why didn't he go over there to see about this situation? We're hearing now that the Painesville Corporation is not paying their teachers. They haven't gotten paid in 3 months.
yeah.
So this is a problem, Liberia, and we have to be realistic about this problem. We cannot pretend that we have a solution, because the problems have gone on, and it's time to make a change in the country. You need somebody who understands business, who understands budgets, who understand how to fix the problems, who understand systems, who have international connections, who can bring jobs, who has integrity. Um, and there's nobody else that is in the presidential class, the people who are running for president or who you think they're running for president, who have as much experience, knowledge, who has dealt with billion-dollar budgets before, over 200 countries. He has managed a company that has gone in 200 countries. He has managed employees, and he has brought his wealth back and invested it into Liberia and shown Liberia his love by building schools, sending children to school, building clinics, building bridges, installing generators, installing computer labs. Just this past weekend, they was out distributing instead of, one of the things for Women International Women's Day, you saw a lot of the women having programs, right? Celebrating themselves, giving awards to these other women. And what the ANC did, they said, we're going to celebrate by bringing sanitary pads and health products to our women in the community. We're not going to dress up. We're not going to put on beautiful clothes, cook, and give an award to Miss Teresa Cummings. No, we are going to put health products in a bag and take it to our women in the community and share with them and celebrate with them for International Women's Month. I thought that was very, very good. And that's what we need. We need to have someone who cares about the people, not care about themselves, giving themselves awards, dancing and getting dressed up. It's time for the Liberian people to feel what the wealth that they have in the country.
So exactly, and just as you couldn't have said it better. Liberians will have to feel a part of a government that they struggled for. These are the basic things that they need: education. The economy will have to boom. You only have uh, people having jobs when there are more investors coming in the country, because it is these investors that will create the avenue for jobs. Government cannot employ everybody, but a responsible government will always create a space, go out there and lobby for jobs for the people. Bring the investors, let them come and invest into your country, and this will it will open up the economy, and it will give the young people job. Yeah, you talk about a mayor. Yes, the other day I said the mayor is a Facebooker. He's a Facebook mayor. He's one mayor who's always that whenever he's doing something, he wants to be noticed. Yeah, he wants to be noticed. Douala is still filthy. Waterside, West Point. You go to red light. All those places you see, they are filthy. And then the mayor will just be right in Central Monrovia here, and he goes on Facebook. You see, Mayor Safa is doing work today. Is that all today? I mean, to clean the city? No, you have to do more. It's not everything that you would do on Facebook that people will see. Now, one thing I used to say, and I'll always say, during the WIA's administration, there's one government official that I really admired, and she headed, in fact, she brought to the spotlight, she made the institution visible to everybody, to the Liberian people, to the world. Emma Glasgow at NAFA. She was one official of government who did not follow Joshua everywhere he went. other officials that when George Weah is this place, they will all go there. But she was busy working, doing her job, going out there. Today you see the Moroccan government and other countries, they supporting, want to invest, they have interest now into the future sector of Liberia. It's through her instrumentality, because she was focused on bringing in more people to invest, and I mean attracting our fishery sector to them, rather than just being on Facebook and what have you, whatever she does. But this is me, Yosafa. All he cares about is whenever he's ready. In fact, if he's about to come clean right in front of Kia Radio here now, he will not look for the journalist, but he will rather take the bloggers, because he believes that the bloggers are the ones that can spread the story, they can spread the news. But the journalists, the real journalists, will be there to critique it. So they said, no, let's go for bloggers. These journalists, they are critical, they can do this. So they rather deal with the bloggers than the real journalists. And that is something that is giving this government the problem. They believe in working with bloggers than journalists that will see the work that they're doing and say, yes, okay, this is what you've done. This is what you've done. And so Mr. Safa is just, so we will just show off. We say this always, that he will show off, but the city will continue to remain like this, because there's no way he's going out there to lobby. Every time you see the UNISA, you only hear the government sign MOU, memorandum of understanding, but what is behind the memorandum of understanding? What are they bringing? No grant, no loan, no equipment coming, nothing. It's just the same old trucks. You see, well, when it breaks down, then that one is off. You can't see it anymore. And so it's just a challenge to the country. It's a challenge. 3 years now, Liberians are still looking. Mind you, we were just in January. This is April, the 4th month. We got 8 more months to go. Before you know, we're done. With 2026, we're in 27 now, a campaign period. Just campaign, they will be on now. The RIA road, since the project stopped, why it has stopped, where all the machines that were on the road there, you can see them. You can see the bridge there down before Tower Hill there. You don't see it again. You don't see the equipment there. The whole project has just come to a standstill. Why? These lawmakers are spending 200,000 just to go to Foya and come back, to spoil the Liberian people money, go travel. It's just so pathetic, Madam Gibson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're spending the money. The money is not there to do the projects. And that's why we're saying, look, this time around we have to be better. We have to do different. We have to think different. We cannot keep doing the same thing expecting the same results. Okay? We have to try to change. We have to try to change the system. We have to try to change the way how the money is spent. And one of the things you mentioned, Musability. Musability, he went and he started to start out as a representative for his district. I think it's District 9 in Nimba.
7.
District 7 in Nimba. And when he first got to the legislature, he was drafting up bills, he was drafting laws, he was trying to make relationships, he was trying to pass these laws, these different bills. He wanted to audit the legislature. And then he realized that one person in the legislature cannot change the legislature because they don't have the power. Those guys, they have, so much influence. The executive, they have so much influence in that legislature that he couldn't by himself change the system, audit the legislature, try to get laws passed. It got to the point where they even changed the whole speaker. to a regime speaker. So that's why he said, I cannot change this I cannot change this as a representative. I have to run for president because the presidency is where they have the power to fix the country, not the legislature. One legislature, even if one legislature has a good intention, they cannot by themselves, even if they band together with a few others, they cannot by themselves fix the government because the government is so powerful. The executive, the presidency, that is where all the power is. That's where let's say the Supreme Court passed a ruling that said return to status quo ante. That was the minority bloc and the majority bloc. The Supreme Court said return to status quo ante. Go back to the legislature. You cannot just remove this speaker. You have to go back and do it the right way. Do you know the president had the Ministry of Justice write an opinion that disagreed with the Supreme Court decision, sent it to the Senate, and the Senate pro tem said they were going to abide by the Ministry of Justice and not the Supreme Court ruling. And the president would not enforce what the Supreme Court said. That's how much power the presidency has. So running for representative, I know some people used to say, oh, why doesn't Mr. Cummings try to run for Senate or run for representative? Why? You don't have any authority, any power in the representative seat or the Senate seat. And that's what Musa Ability is saying. He wanted to go in there and try to see if he could try to change things, but it is difficult to overcome the power of the presidency. And the president appoints all of these different ministers, and spends the budget, and there's no oversight. You never hear the legislature calling in the Ministry of Justice and asking him about his budget and why he spent this and why he did this and why he didn't do this. You never hear them calling them in and say, where is why is I think the latest corruption is NASCOP, the pension fund.
Yeah, NASCAR.
$85,000 in cash on a so-called hotel room or hotel. For what? That's the pension money. That's the people retirement money. That's the money you give to people when they're old. I wonder if these people think nobody can see what is happening. This is the money where these people work all their lives. They don't have anything left. They just want to get their little bag of rice every month to eat. And you're spending their money, cash money. You have no receipts. What kind of ministry spends cash $85,000 cash for hotel? For what? What kind of hotel wouldn't take a check for document purposes? Why would you spend $85,000 in cash at a hotel? What government purpose is that? So it just sounds fishy. It sounds something is not right. And you don't see the legislature calling these people down to the legislature and sitting them down and saying, what is happening here? What is not happening here? In the United States, that's how the Attorney General Pam Bondi, she got fired recently. Trump fired the Attorney General. When she got called down to the legislature, the kind of questions they were asking her, she didn't have no answer. And he said, well, she's making me look bad. She got fired. The same thing happened with the Department of Homeland Secretary. She went down to the legislature. They were asking her, how could you spend $200 million on a marketing advertisement, buy a horse, getting makeup, doing all this stuff. Didn't Donald Trump know that you were spending this kind of money on advertising? She said, yes, he knew. And he said, no, I didn't know anything about it. Next thing you know, he fired her.
Okay. Yeah.
So the legislature is supposed to be the one to call in these people and say, what is going on with you? What are you
Put,
doing with the people's money?
yeah. Put them in check.
But here in Liberia, they don't call them. They don't call them for that. They call them to take pictures with them. They're smiling. The other day, by the way, it has been what, 20 days now since Guinea has invaded the Liberian border.
Mm.
20 days, Guinea soldiers came into Liberia and have taken up, uh, you know, build kitchens, staying in Liberia for the last 20 days. And when the president went to the legislature, instead of them asking what what is going on, what are you doing, what are you planning on doing, they took pictures with him. Everybody came next to him and said, can I take a picture with you, Mr. President? Can I take a picture with you, Mr. President? Oh, thank you, Mr. President. Can I take a picture with you? That is not checks and balances. That's not the role of the legislature. And so I think Musa Bility got tired of what was happening, and he decided he's going to run for president to try to change the system and change, the way things are done in the country. But when I look at the experience between Musa Bility and Alex Cummings, there's no comparison. There's no comparison to any of the candidates with Alex Cummings. None of them have dealt with $1 billion budget. None of them. None of them have spent millions of dollars in Liberia on medical supplies and education and scholarships. None of them have managed that many employees over that many countries. None of them. None of them have dealt with, talk about hiring, firing, logistics, sourcing, just to build the products in Coca-Cola. Think of all the things you have to get to build those products. You have to have clean water. You have to have aluminum. You have to have plastic. You have to have factories. You have to have trucks. You have to have equipment. So all of it's very complicated to run a government. You have to have a lot of different layers of information in there in your head. Taxes, marketing, customer service. And so and to me, I'm not trying to bring God into it, but I feel that God took this man from Liberia and gave him the information and the knowledge that he needed to help to fix the country, to bring all of that experience back to help fix this country. Because this country is a rich, rich country. Going back to what we started with, you finding gold in the middle of the streets. That's how rich Liberia is. You got, and one of the things that Liberia also has, Jefferson, not
Mhm.
only just the iron, the rubber, the aluminum, the timber, but there's something called soursop. Soursop has some of the most strongest health benefits in the world. Moringa tea. These
Yeah.
are that Liberia has to sell. People will buy that stuff because it's so healthy for your body. You know, the kind of coffee in Liberia that only Liberia has is called Liberica coffee beans. This is a product that only Liberia has. So not only are you rich with, you know, these different resources, but you also have these food products that you can market and sell too. So, I think that Liberians need to give Alexander Cummings a chance this time. Let us try to fix this country. What do you have to lose? You already tried CDC. You already tried UP. You know, you cannot compare him with any of the other people that are running. So try somebody who has the country at heart and who has the knowledge and the skills necessary, to fix the country. Jefferson.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we continue to say. Liberia is not a two-party state, and but it is the Liberians that will decide comes 2029, because they are the ones who mostly go to the polls during campaign. You see these people coming to them, so it is their choice to make 2029 to see good leaders who will better the lives of the country, of the people, improve trade and improve economy, and boost everything, bring in investors and more investments, so that young people can be able to work and earn something for themselves, right? So it is not about one person who just will sit down. Till now, that's what I said till now, that we can. I was just reading through. When did Guinea Guinean troops enter Liberia? The Guinean armed, soldiers. When did they enter? On March 2nd, 2026, armed Guinean soldiers crossed into Lofa County, forcing workers from BK Enterprise to stop working on a road project at gunpoint. This was reported by Variety News. Then on March 9 and the 10th, the same 2026, the report surfaced of Guinean soldiers crossing the Makona River and attempting to plant their national flag on Liberian soil, which they did, which was successful. Persistent tensions, despite high-level meetings between local officials and diplomatic efforts to de-escalate, reports indicated ongoing presence and sporadic encroachment throughout March 2026, as noted in reports. Disputed region, the incursion centers around boundary disagreements, with Guinean alleging territorial claims in the area, specifically in Lofa County. The border situation has led to calls for increased deployment of the armed forces of Liberia and intervention by regional bodies like ECOWAS, as described. You know, but well, that is it. Uh, the thing about um, the call for arm, for the army to be deployed over there, it continues to remain a problem here at the with the Liberian government, and we don't know how this will end. But as we speak, diplomatic means all efforts now. Still, we don't know the actual cause. Stan had just released something, and Stan had just released a statement.
Mhm.
It's yes, it's a long one. Can I read it?
Yes, I was looking for it. Go ahead, read it.
Yes. So the Solidarity for Trust Stan declares government spineless, calls for the expulsion of Guinean ambassador. April 6, 2026, the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day expresses its utmost disgust at the callous cowardice and glaring weakness of the Liberian government, which has failed in its sworn duty to defend Liberia's sovereignty, now being brazenly encroached upon by Guinea. While the government may be unwilling to protect military strength, it has no justification for the weakness and indecision it has put on display, revealing a profound failure of resolve and courage. Most notably, it has deliberately failed to invoke Article 9 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961, which gives Liberia the sovereign right to declare the Guinean ambassador persona non grata and expel him in response to his country's unlawful incursion onto Liberian soil. Even at the lowest threshold of diplomatic response, the government has failed. At a minimum, it should have recalled Liberia's ambassador to Guinea as a formal and immediate expression of protest against Guinea's blatant provocation. Stand identifies the 2024 Ibrahima Khalil Sheriff scandal as the trigger that embodied Guinea's junta-style regime to violate Liberia's sovereignty. Sherry's arbitrary handover by the Bouaka-led government in blatant defiance of judicial authority fueled Guinea's aggression and exposed Liberia's institutional weakness, turning the transfer into the foundation of impunity that has fueled escalating incursions and the erosion of Liberia's sovereignty and rule of law. Alarmingly, this illegal act was allegedly rewarded with 6 pickup trucks loaded with arms and ammunition handed by Guinean proxies to the Liberia National Police, the very agency that orchestrated the criminal transfer. It is both alarming and disgraceful that the government remains hesitant and subdued in the face of clear violations of Liberia's territorial integrity. This posture reflects a pattern of cowardice by a government that is quick to unleash excessive force against peaceful domestic protesters, yet retreats into weakness when confronted with the aggression of a foreign adversary occupying sovereign Liberian territory. It is our firm and considered position that any government unwilling to deploy established international legal mechanisms to defend its national interest fundamentally undermines its legitimacy and calls into serious question its fitness to govern. Therefore, we call on the current government under President Bouakai to summon the courage it has thus far lacked by immediately expelling the Guinean ambassador to Liberia as a definitive and unmistakable signal of Liberia's rejection of Guinea's unlawful provocation and encroachment. Finally, stand in collaboration with civil society and community-based institutions issued issues a clear warning. Decisive civic actions will be announced shortly in defense of fundamental rights, justice, the rule of law, and the full protection of Liberia's sovereign territory. Liberia's sovereignty is not negotiable, and the people will not stand by while it is undermined by foreign encroachment and government inaction. Signed, Moba K. Molu Jr. That's a strong one there.
Yes,
Yeah.
should be strong. Um, it's not okay for us to vote for incompetent people anymore because it is a security threat.
Mhm.
The reason why they are acting the way they are is because in this region now, instead of us being the leaders like we used to be the ones to export goods. We used to be the ones to educate people. We used to be the ones who would train their doctors, train their nurses. We are
Mhm.
now borrowing electricity from them and not paying our bills.
Mm.
And so we have become a weak, weak, weak country in the region because these politicians are spending so much money on themselves and not on building the country.
Mm.
So it is not just that they're stealing the money, but they're stealing and it's making the country weak. They're not using the money to build the military. They're not using the money to protect the border. They're not using the money to monitor who comes in and out. They don't even. Why does the ministry of what's the ministry that's supposed to be national security?
NSC.
What are they there for? NSA is intelligence, right?
Hmm.
That's spies. They're supposed to have people in the different countries to call them and say, there's a problem at the Guinea border. You all need to move people there because next week they may be coming over there to that border because we've been hearing chatter. We've been hearing from the different people here in the military. They're saying they don't like the mining going on that's happening there. So you all may want to do something about it. You're supposed to know what happens before it happens. That's why you have national security agency. You have spies in different countries. They're supposed to call you. They're supposed to tell you this.
Mm.
They had an idea that this all was happening before it happened because apparently there was some issue with the sand mining, and we still haven't gotten to the bottom of that story. The president, the press secretary, nobody has said Jeremiah Pink. What is
Limit.
Jeremiah?
Limit. Yeah.
He hasn't said anything. Kula Fufan, none of them, all these people who speak for the government have not said what happened. But national security is tied to the wealth of the country. And that stealing and the corruption is making our national security, putting us at risk in the country. And we have to change because right now, Jefferson, think about it. The houses that I'm seeing President Barkat building, they're not finished yet.
Of course.
They still got to get windows, doors, floors that are like bring people money coming to be spent on all of these things. He still got to finish the foyer, the pool.
And
Some
this
of
this,
those
this is a president who then after he was served for 12 years as vice president, he was on loan.
because he don't know how to spend the money. He doesn't know how to keep money. I think. I mean, so they're still not finished spending the people money. They're still not finished spending like burn people money. Then they still gotta buy their campaign stuff now.
Yeah.
They say they gotta build campaign headquarters in every county.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is a party that was evicted. They were getting evicted from their party headquarters when they were
Mhm.
running. We remember that, Jefferson?
Of
Now,
course.
now they got money to build party headquarters all around the country.
Mm.
That's the Liberian people money they're spending. So they're so stuck on the money now. They will not have the money to build the military. They will not have the money to buy the radar. They will not have the money to do the things that are necessary. The people in Lofa stood strong against the Ghanaian army when they came. They pushed them back so far back they left the country.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
didn't have what we call in the military, they did not have reinforcements. Nobody from the Liberian government came and stood by their side and said, you know what? You are civilians. You leave. We will stand here and nobody will take this flagpole. That's not what happened. Nobody was there at that place when the people when the Liberian people left, when the people from the town left for days. There was no military, there was no police, there was no immigration, there was no border patrol. Nobody was there. They did not stand strong in order to protect. Now you let them come in, then they took one town, then they moved to another town. So, I mean, on Liberia Future TV, we have been saying the president needs to get help. He needs to get help. He needs to call for help. He needs to ask former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President George Weah, Alexander Cummings to make some calls because America is so busy now with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz that we need to get regional support. We need to get regional support to solve this problem. And ECOWAS and the AU, Mr. Cummings, always in South Africa. He's always in Rwanda. These are the countries that we need to be talking to, the larger countries, Nigeria. You know, these are the countries we need to be talking to in order to contain this problem. The 2026 report came out, Jefferson. I sent it to you earlier today. It was from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. It came out and, has some things to say about our growth and the fact that we have not made very much progress in the area of poverty. And this is, again, keeping us weak at the border. And we need to change the government because their spending is hurting the country.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Exactly. Trying to open this,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to open it. The link
A
is
video. You want me
yeah.
to try to see if I can open it? Is it something you loaded?
No, I mean I'm trying to open it on my phone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that it can open. That's what I'm trying to do.
I see
Uh,
it's something that you loaded. I can add it.
yeah, no, that what I loaded is a video from
Mm-hmm.
Korea,
Okay.
regarding the border. Those who are already left,
Mm-hmm.
their homes, and some of them they send their kids away. There's a lady over there who explained earlier from the beginning, and she her little cash she was saving now. Also, she had to use it to transport her children, and
Mm.
she only stayed back because of the pigs that she had there, and so. But as of now, what becomes of them? Because farming activities now should be ongoing in that part of the county, in that part of Lofa, but because of the presence of Guinean soldiers, they will not be able to do any farming activities over there, which is a serious. Since the government talked about the speaker, since they visited, talked about LRRC going there, National Disaster Management going there, and I mean we haven't heard anything. And since they talked about, he said they were going to have a delegation to Guinea, delegation of parliaments to Guinea, but still there has not been anything said about that. So that's why people just continue to say the house now, that house is just a house of money making. People over there just making free money because they believe that that is the area everybody can go and just get free money. That's what they
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're mad at Yeke because he exposes them.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's all.
And that's
They
how
can't keep the
they've
border.
diverted the argument. They've now diverted the whole bullet conversation to Yeke. I mean, it is not about Yeke. Yeke is saying something, but what about what is happening at the border? What is the cause? Why you can tackle that? But the
Right.
whole conversation now has been Yeke's expulsion, diverting the minds of the people from the actual reality to something that is of no relevance to the people.
Right.
What does this expulsion of Yeke Koluba has to do with the situation in Lofa? How does that solve the problem? How does that answer the questions that Liberians are asking? How far are we with the Guinean, Lofa Guinea border? How far are we? How does the expulsion of Yeke answer the question? How does it send the people back into their villages and town to go and carry out their farming activities? How does that, affect their lives? They're not answering the questions, but they focus on the expulsion of Yeke. It's a total deviation from the actual reality,
And
Madam
how
Gibbs.
far, yeah, how far are these soldiers going to go before they say enough is enough?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this whole thing called diplomacy that is happening, what is actually happening? As the president, you're supposed to be coming to the Liberian people every few days and telling them what is happening and taking questions. The other day, I think it was a recording that they did. They played a recording. It wasn't even live.
Mm.
As much problems as we have in America, the president will come to that podium. He would talk, he would talk, he would talk. He would take questions. The reporters will ask him. They will go into his office. There will be so many of them lined up at his desk. Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. He would insult them, but he would have to answer their questions.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
we watch that. We watch that every time here.
yeah.
And
He
we
will
ask for
insult them. He will insult them. He will insult, but he will have to answer their question. They will ask him questions, and he will have to answer those questions. We have never seen Joseph Boycott line up for reporters to ask him questions, real questions like, Mr. President, what happened at the border? Why are the Guinean soldiers there? Mr. President, when will we see jobs come in this country? Mr. President, you said there were 70,000 jobs that came in this country. What can you explain to us? Where are those jobs? Mr. President, you said you were going to build 600 affordable homes in the country, yet you are breaking down people houses in the country. When are they going to have homes in this country? When are they going to have these homes? Mr. President, you brought the yellow machine in the country. You said they were going to fix the roads, they were going to do this, they were going to do that. Where are the yellow machines and why are they not on the road? Where are they going to go first? What areas are you going to? These are the questions that the Liberian people have. Mr. President, what are you doing about these soldiers in the country? But you never see him sit down and take these kind of questions from the press, from the public, and it's concerning. I agree with Stan that they need. I don't know if they should, start removing, officials from the country, but I
they,
agree that something
the
needs to happen.
ambassador. They're saying that Mobile Molo is saying that the Liberian ambassador to Guinea by now they should recall him. In fact, he should come back home, and this could serve as a protest, a form of protest action to what Guinea has done to Liberia, and that the Guinean ambassador to Liberia now should be considered or declared as a persona non grata, should be expelled from this country and go back to his country. That's what they're saying.
Well, you have regional might that should deter him from these things. That's why you have the ECOWAS, that's why you have the AU, that's why you have these group of countries that will come together, especially, and then that's why it's important to spread democracy, because you want democracy in the face of, totalitarianism and these military junta regimes. So you get together with some of the other democratic, thinking countries, and you form a joint union to go to Guinea and say, this is not acceptable. You have your country, they have their country. Because if we allow you to cross the border and start trouble in this region, it will spread like a fire from country to country. And we cannot have this. Let's mediate, let's figure out what's wrong, what's the problem, what happened, because this did not happen during we as time. We did
Mm.
not see this encroachment, and if in fact it was because Joseph Buckeye and these companies were stealing sand and mining and doing all these things, somebody needs to get fired. Somebody needs to lose their job. Somebody needs to pay for this because you putting the Liberian people's safety at risk because you are illegally mining.
And until now, President Bouazizi has been nothing done to Francis Nyamale. He still enjoys his position as the Minister of Local Government. He's still there, even though there has been serious, several allegations against him regarding the illegal mining or the mining activities that was ongoing there on the Makona River. But the man is still there as president. He's still there as president. I mean, as minister, so to speak, he's still there as minister with President Bouazizi not taking action. And these are things that continue to trigger Liberians, continue to get them, coming every now and then to the media, saying these things and writing and calling on talk shows because they believe that the president is not doing what they really expect of him. How can a minister be, in the forefront of this? His name is there until now. You cannot say, well, Mama, you have to leave, go and rest. And after this investigation, if you're guilty, you will not come back. If you're not guilty, we'll bring you back. Till now, nothing has been done. Francis Yomali is still the minister of local government. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Jefferson, if you want to wrap it up and then we can take calls, or if you want to play this video.
Okay.
Yeah, because, we are in a serious situation in the country. The foreign minister hasn't even come to us to give us an update. I don't know if it was appropriate to do a whole party and dancing and putting money on, Senator Dillon putting money on the woman's butt and all kind of crazy stuff while the Guinean soldiers are in the country. I don't think that was a time for that. I don't think that was the right time. And it just shows the unserious nature of these people. The senators, representatives went up to the border and came back singing, "My friend, your friend, the happier we will be." This is an unserious set of people. Unserious set of people.
Very. Yeah.
So we can take calls, Jefferson, if you want.
Yeah, folks, so if you're out there, we're here. This is Lib Future TV. You can call us. You listen to talking points this evening. 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 plus 231 777 959 959 0881 871 Those are the numbers you can use this evening to be a part of the conversation here on Kia Radio 95.9 LRB Feature TV. We've discussed a wide range of issues. We talk LEC as well. The price of petrol and gasoline has increased also from $4.87 now to $5.09. And so all of those, we talk about the border and issues government has now forgotten, and the entire conversation is on the expulsion of Yeke Kaluba, the splashing and celebrating of lawmakers, whooping $200,000 US dollars when Liberians continue to struggle. They barely live on the $1 per day. The farming activities should be kicking up now in Foya, Lofa County, but around the Solomba area now, it seems difficult because of the presence of Guinean soldiers still on our soil. Where are we till now? We've not heard anything as to what is this, how far are we with the solution now? Would the Guinean soldiers stay there again for April to end? All of these things we're talking on 95.90 959 Mr. Cummings has said that when he becomes president, he will improve the salaries of security by increasing up to $300 to $400 monthly, and there will be drones at every border point be flown up. This person, please walk away from your monitor, the radio, the feedback. Yes, please, when you call, make sure you walk away from your radio. We don't want people, we don't want us getting feedback. So Mr. Cummings has said that, well, when he becomes president, one of the things he will do, tackle, is to increase the salaries of the security. The army, the immigration, those who will be at the points of entry, the border points. You make $300 to $400 and give you good housing, and of course, drones will be at our border points, to be monitoring as well who's coming in and who's leaving as well. So out of these things we've talked. Let's hear you on 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 0881 871 670 0881 871 670 plus 231 777 959 959. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, your name, where you call from?
I'm Jefferson Slabber calling from the Virgin Speaker District, this 11.
Jefferson from the Regime Speaker, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, people, these are the campaign talk that they can fool the Liberian people with. Without you having correct data system, then you say you'll be using drone to border points. How truthful is that?
Is that impossible?
They're coming with a thing like impossible. The first thing, they should fight and make way the way Ghana and looking to get a Wi-Fi cable all over across their country. They should be established first. The tower, the internet tower will be all over Liberia, but you go Nima, you can't see that again. One of the 15. Then how can you do that? How can you do that? It's impossible. Then I come to the weakness of the government. We have been talking there, people are taking it lightly. If you're eating your money, the Liberian money, you're eating it. You're trying to protect the Liberian people. You've been telling you working on diplomatic arrangement, still the Guinea to that border are taking our people from our village and farm. They have been, refugee life, and the government not doing anything. The speaker went there and said he gave 24 hours. Now I know that he the president before he gave 24 hours. He's taking executive position, performing executive performance. I have to say he's the president now. They don't know what they are doing. I don't know that the president in charge or that the speaker in charge or that the other people invited in charge. I don't know what's going on in the country. The people, they are fooling us. They're just making us feel bad day because they're not doing what we have appointed there or we elected them to do. The lawmaker there, they are worshiping the president because they know they get a clandestine deal to care all. They're not doing anything to push the president to do the right thing for all in the country. It's very bad.
Okay.
Thank you for anyway they're opening our eyes. All those are there. We're waiting to see turn to the night. Let down they don't start crying. They turn to the night. They turn to the night. You not crying. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your points. 0777 959 959 0777 959 959. Stan has also released a statement that President Baka should recall now the Guinean Liberian ambassador to Guinea and also expel Guinean ambassador to Liberia, declaring persona non grata. Good morning. Sorry, good evening. I'm used to the morning hours. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, your name, where you call from?
Yeah, my name is Aaron Wogi. I call from the program.
Welcome, Aaron.
Okay. The topic is important. Where Alexander coming from? He forgetting when he came here, he said when became president, when Louis Brown stole his money, he ran away from here, go to America. Who see him? When I can order now, who see him? You can't say that lie, I can't talk about you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Let him go to let him go to Louis Brown. Yeah, Louis Brown is me man. Let him go to Louis Brown. Fresh. I mean, Saga, they bullet Benia. You are journalist. And you're telling you what will happen to you. The poor say like the poor we the cause because we're money in the water. The king they told the machine for all the carrying in Guinea. Then they will turn around, they will call some our people from they go Guinea, they saw the machine in there that they seized from us. All that Guinea inside. The people first. Why not we put together we beg this guy in Guinea, they let you forget about it, then you're just dodging it.
So how are we dodging it now? What kind of truth you say?
That your thought is true.
What a truth?
That we the
what
problem.
Do we know? But is it that we don't want to say it? Or that it come from my man? We don't want to say it.
You ain't living here, my brother. You ain't living here, about my brother. You ain't living here, about.
So I don't want you to tell I should go tell. I'm a journalist. You tell the person, oh yeah, they think they put for it. You not go there and go pick the people. I don't want.
now you don't want to say because anything happen, you call it. You guy, you know boy.
But we don't know what's happening. President Baka went to Guinea. Since he came by, he hasn't told us what was discussed in the meeting. Or he said that things will be okay and everything will be fine. So what do we have to say? We are asking the question, telling the president, asking the president to tell us what is the cost of the Guineans coming to Liberia. That's what we need to know.
Yeah. But you're mute. You didn't want to tell nothing. I think you're going that way.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Yes, we're good. Your name, where you join us from?
Suleiman Kamara. I'm calling from Brazil.
Welcome, Suleiman.
Okay, the topic on the discussions, where the people who keep calling, where you people some Liberia already want to do? We should go to war with Guinea or we should have a dialogue? The situations at the border is all to be handled with care. If not, it will run out of hand. We don't use military might to foil Guinea or to get our integrity where we want our territory to be under our supervision. We just need to work with diplomatic means or call other countries that are in alliance with Guinea and that of Liberia to have a dialogue so we can get this property. We can't fight war now. We are going through it over 14 years. Okay. So people keep praying that we should slip back into the dark days. No, if you ask me, I will say no.
We're not going to dark days. We will not go this year.
Yeah, that's our prayer. We don't want to go the dark side of it. So let's keep praying and let the government use their way forward where they think that is best for us so we can get our land back from the Guineans.
Okay.
So I think people keeping saying the rumors that the Liberians were money on the water, carrying Guineans seize the equipment. These are all alleged something. It's not proven. If it were proven, the Guineans were going to put it on their network and you're going to see this equipment and they were going to display it so people could see it. But we shouldn't be living under the supervisions of where people just sit there and prehend their own things where they thought. Because the whole Guinea and Liberia situations are being politicized now. That's how it's going to be. You don't politicize everything. These are things supposed to be handled diplomatically. So thank you for the talking points.
Thank you so much. Good evening. The feedback.
Good evening.
Yes. Paco.
This is Paco on the United Party in the election Bureau.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I heard you people talking about the president. He went to the Republic of Guinea for the border issue and came back. But you know, he found the Liberian people why he went there. I think the president speak on our day to impress the nation.
What did he say?
That we should not be punished. That everything will be under control. And today everything under control. You can get any north.
But we still got so what becomes of the land in Guinea?
the land is for everything about procedures, my brother. Everything will be found. The tension, somebody like you wanted to thank God that there's a professional president, competent president who can understand between the land, everything working by procedures. ECWA, AU, Manual Union, other country coming in. Tunisia will move the people. You take tools from all and you carry your thing back. You want to play the river between Blue and Guinea. Everybody can use our play to take sand and build the town horses around our area. The way in Guinea, you can use our play. We just say so and brother. So no need for people to run on ground politics to tell Dunia because on over the the war is new to the what they do relying on. Because it's setting representative to defend the state, not defend the state, but if we get Joe Barker, it's different. We can't say your country boy. The president, what people are taking it to oh man, I take it at that. Oh man, do the professional way. To me, I would take a proof on that. For course, yeah, eating. No man, no woman can stop call work. To me, I will move. Yeah, everything normal in our place. People are taking it against President Ryan. If you move coming, now President told all leader said no, my comment will follow them. We will go to the diplomatic way to move. You can see everybody normal business people go to school. Thing happening to me, I will move. Me that not go about the law. You will move. The land for La Bureau. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Paco. Thank you. 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 plus 231 777 959 959 0881 871 are the numbers you can use to be a part of the conversation tonight. Lib Future TV here on 95.9. Good evening.
Hello?
You live? Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, you
Hello.
live? Hello, you live? Go ahead.
Hello?
No, you need to change your location. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ras. I'm to join this evening from New Matari.
Welcome, Ras.
Yeah, so I listened to the show this evening, and I'm was a mate your host or your co-host, Madam Catherine.
Yeah,
She explained well with the show, explaining about Cummings, and I agree with all the issue of our bowler there, the situation of the local bowler there, our Guinea. It's something that the government should really look at keenly. And one of the callers said, I want to Cummings this, that coming to fool the people, and people calling one person. So I want to make the public know that Cummings is one person who is widely recognized, even in out of this country, right? But with Cummings, foresee our nation moving on a right trajectory. You know, Cummings is one person who is business oriented and building policies, and those policies that you take from the theory aspect and bring the private aspect, where the youth will be well schooled into TVET, where students will be getting deserving scholarship, our market women, their life will begin to improve. So we want to Cummings, I foresee a better life, bro. So thank you for the show.
Thank you so much, Ras. This person, welcome. Your name and where you call from? Hello? Oh, 0777 959 959 0777 959 959. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, the feedback is too terrible. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, hi, come on, brother.
Yes, we're good.
Well, my input to the call, first of all, I want to tell you thank you for this conversation on the radio.
Okay, and what's your name and where you call from?
My name is Lawrence, I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The thing that Liberian people can be doing, I don't understand them. On such a show that they will be on the media for Liberian to sit and embrace it, we sit down and want to defend our political, high quality, our political interests. No, let me tell you something. They united like government, the people deceive us, brother.
Let me tell you something. Joseph Boakai only took power to enrich himself, but not the interest of the Liberian people. Let me be reality to you. You can't tell me, say, you there running politics in the legislature while the Guineans are invading into your territory. You there talking about say you're going to a diplomatical discussion. No. You went down there, you don't want to let the fire down there. The company that went down there to a man dragging the sand in the water there, taking going. And they want to make money to bring the forces in. And but left by Joseph Boakai. Let's be reality that Joseph Boakai, they want to do it. That their company. So they shouldn't be telling on that. And I want to get to Arizona Kumi. Nobody should just sit down and look at their friend and underestimate them. Arizona Kumi, if I'm a citizen, maybe both of you. Georgia is my president. But let me tell you something. That time when Georgia is not in a way, I can vote for Arizona Kumi because I don't know the info. And we will know looking at the mind of other people. So people when I sit down on the radio, they say, oh, they person out on it. When you there, why you doing it? He's spending money. The man, what you vote for? You make it president today. Today, why are the info or the impact you are making like bro? Send the civil war to place. Where were he? Today you are making president. And today carrying all down into the world, giving all into the water. Why were he? Why the info he are doing into the country? Why the thing he did for Liberian, build Liberian life? So brother, let me tell you something. When we get on the social media, that Liberian, that thing that going on in Lopa there, it is disturbing Liberian mind. It's playing onto all that was the hack and the people be there taking other people deep on the corner, can't take it because he did something wrong.
Let me ask you this. Mr. Cummings has said that when he becomes president, the army, the security salaries will increase to $300 to $400 a month, and at our border points, you will see drones will be in the air. What do you think of his statement?
That's one of the major aspects of Liberia. Increase the salary of the army. That will motivate more people to join the army that they will be able to protect life and property. And these bullet points should be able that government should look out and put security there. That will be able to secure the country. But you will not have the place done. You don't even pay the security. You don't care for the security. Then how you think we will raise the life to go stay on border for you, my brother?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Your name and where you call from?
The Banner Soldier Solomon P. Jerry of the Armed Forces of Liberia.
From the Armed Forces of Liberia. Where you call from, Chief?
I call from 10th Street.
10th Street. Are you currently in the army?
No, I said disbanded.
Oh, disbanded. Okay. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. You see what happened here to our country? The border problem that we have is because the Bagaria seeing the power to increase it. Because there will be nowhere once we enter your house, say you want the person to read in your bedroom before you say action. What kind of action we will do for now? So anything you can see, they'll look at you can all you can say today, well, listen to you can say you put to Guinea because Guinea is a friend. So anybody who can use the fire will cry for help. But we know the president cannot just say, oh, so crying for help, what are places who live in the water we are.
Let me ask you this, sir. You are a former military man. With the current situation now, many Liberians have been asking that the army should be deployed by now at the border. Do you agree?
Exactly so. In fact, we will be talking to our area there to be on a base, to be rehashing there. Because you can't go through the years ago, you still got then we occupy that for a year. But we thank God you have in the president own country. And what we tell God, thank you, you now have it because Nima can will not establish, grandfather can establish, all the country will not establish, but you have in your own country. Thank God, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Disbanded AFL man there. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Your name is Jonas from where?
Firstly, let me say I want to be very grateful for you people for having this show. I'm A. Mohammed T. Famara calling from Grankin County of our sport.
Mohammed for Kipman. Go ahead.
Yeah, our sport. If Arizona Kumi can be based on source of points, then why Liberians who cannot look at source of points that Arizona Kumi can be making? If an individual can come out to say if he become president for this kind of country, who has love for the country, he will increase security salary. He will make sure at various points across the country will be well secured. While Liberia, we cannot make up our mind to say yes, we need changes. We need to make changes in this country. But we still see our brother passing around saying that this government is trying, the government trying. You voted them to try. That's the reason you voted them to try. Or you placed them there to meet your expectations. But our brothers and sisters that still passing here saying, oh yes, the government is trying, the government is trying. What you call trying? Government should be trying until another country should come and take your own land from you. Yes, still you still be there saying that they are trying. So I want to say very thanks to you people for having this kind of marvelous show where all Liberians will be maybe updated for what is happening in the country.
Okay.
Regarding what his government is doing. Thank you for the show.
Thank you, Mohammed. Good evening. Hello. Yes.
I'm Jonathan Grant calling for Catholic Boulevard.
Go ahead, Jonathan. Please work away from your monitor. Go ahead.
I'm very much constrained to get on the show tonight. Thank you for your show tonight. Yeah, because of our leadership today in Nigeria, nobody here who is content for what happening. I'm Jonathan Grant.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Go ahead.
Yeah. You know, today, Liberia today is not Liberia yesterday. The same government yesterday who criticized there is the same government to power. But what is the issues into Liberia politics today? We all must get to it. But when we now come today and say, yeah, increase social security salary or EFS salary to 400 or $5,000 USD. It can be possible in Liberia economy today.
You think it's impossible to increase the army salary?
It's not possible. It's not possible. I don't want I voted for him before, and I bet he campaigned him before on the Catholic book.
So why if we reduce the lawmakers' salaries and increase the army?
We have to reduce it because everybody there will enrich
Does he remember?
So that we can
when Cummings said that the Liberian budget could be $1 billion? He said that 6 years ago. And right now, the budget is going to $1 billion.
Okay. So, Cummings can transform the economy.
Yes.
Transform the economy. We are angry people sitting here today because voted for.
Oh, too bad. I know where he was going because he voted for this government. But this person went off. Yes, 777-959-9590, 777-959-959. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, your name you call from where?
Well, thank you for a unique conversation. It's beautiful evening. Well, my name is
your line. You come in distorted. You want to shift.
You getting me now? You getting me now?
Go ahead. You say your name is?
Okay, my name is Mohammed Don San Antonio. But I joined a unique conversation with
Japan Freeway. Mohammed, just walk a little bit, man. Yeah.
What, you getting me now?
Go ahead. Yes, Mohammed. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I want to give my input. Well, we are discussing with the Cummings. The Cummings, we know that it's the unique person, the food, the food business, but the Cummings is one of the custodians that brings back that power. So, how will he come and then and bring out the power who, back to the people instead of trying to make the entire country a nice place. Everybody want to, but now he comes to power. Who he is, 80 years, just buying this, building houses, just some people out, resources, and then he went to local countries and there are 10 million, troops. And none of our people, none of our, our, government in this country ever come on this video or other platforms to condemn this process. And Mr. Cummings is saying that you want to mail some fund that you or whatever. But my problem is, he brought Mr. Parker to power. You want to press that some last Mr. Parker, and I put on the Costa said it. The milk Cummings because of power, because he wanted power. He wanted for the Parker to give him weight. And then Mr. Parker didn't wait to give him weight. And he comes back to the Labrampo saying that he wanted be person. So when you're really saying, I don't really think you can be a person that will really transform this country. Okay. And then I suspect Mr. Weir, because in the past days, Mr. Weir did a lot of development country. So also think they manipulated the men that start lying to Labrampo.
Thank you, Mohammed. So can take other people. Thank you, Dozo. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name you call from where?
Okay, so my name is Martin Singletaba and I call you from Pinsville.
Go ahead, Martin.
Okay, let me appreciate the people for always opening the land that Liberians can help like issues that are genuine to the growth of this country. As it related to your sporadic topics that you are discussing, I want to pick on two. And the first had to do with the Liberian Guinean border situation. I think as it stands, the government of Liberia is handling this matter on a very mature level. There is no way that the government of Liberia can go and fight Guinea. Because if the government of Liberia does that, it means to say that the government of Liberia is endangering the life of the citizens.
But I don't think anyone wants Liberia to go and fight Guinea.
But I think you are saying anyone, but I think there are some people in Liberia that they are supporting the war created between Liberia and Guinea because they are statement that Liberia should go violently to go and react to take the people from the border land. That alone is a sign that indeed there are some people in Liberia that want war to fight between Liberia and Guinea.
Okay. The second point.
Yeah, the second point has to do with the aspect that we have now currently with the government and the proceeding the governance of this country. As it stands with Honorable Alexander Cummings, I think Honorable Alexander Cummings' statement that says that in years to come, Liberia budget will reach 1 billion or will reach billion another. That is not something that is a soothsayer. It just clearly speaks that indeed when you are a mathematical person, you will calculate and analyze that indeed in time to come, your expenditure or your income will not remain the same, but it will have to be double because there's a theory that I profound that is because human multiply the need supply, there's always struggle for life. So as it stands, once yesterday I alone were living with my parents, we need to go 2-3 cups. But because I started to get a girlfriend, and my girlfriend get her brother, and then she myself get a child, we will not eat the same 3 cups. We have to increase the 3 cups to either 4 or 5 cups. So it's from that point of view that Kumi was speaking. So it's not to say that he's a demon God, that he knows the situation, how to solve Liberia problem right away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I'm guessing she will take more calls.
No. Let me just address some of the questions, some of the calls.
Okay.
So thank you everyone for calling. Great points, everyone. So we never advocate for war. We never want to see war in Liberia. What we are saying is when you have assets, when you have resources, use them. You have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you have George Weah, you have Alex Cummings. All of these people in the country have international connections. Call them, use them to help with the diplomacy, because right now the problem is not going away, and they have a problem because it seems as if this government was one of the people benefiting from the mining that was happening. So use George Weah, use Madam Sirleaf, use Alex Cummings. Let them speak to other governments so we can resolve this issue peacefully. The second point, someone said that Cummings financed Buckeye to be president. That was not true. That was not true. Mr. Cummings joined the CPP, so did Benani Uri, so did the Liberty Party, so the Unity Party. They all joined because Liberian people said they wanted to see the opposition united. So they joined and they started what's called the CPP. They signed a document and they agreed that they would go to a convention. At the convention, that's when they would decide who will be the leader of the CPP. When it came time to go for the convention, Henry Costa built up this story about documents, ended up in court, and Henry Costa ended up apologizing to Mr. Cummings and said that he lied on Mr. Cummings. And the reason why he lied is because he knew that Joseph Buckeye would not win the convention, but that Mr. Cummings would win the convention in the CPP. They all knew that Cummings was going to win because under Cummings, the CPP won 6 Senate seats. When he was the leader of the CPP, they won 6 Senate seats. They won representative seats. They were very successful under Mr. Cummings' leadership of the CPP. So they knew that if they went to convention, that he would win the CPP. So that's why they built up that story on him. And Henry Costa ended up apologizing to Mr. Cummings and said he's sorry that he lied, but he did it because they had to break up the CPP. There was another caller who called and said that Mr. Cummings is not a soothsayer, that he knows math. Yes, I agree with you. He knows math. And he said years ago that the budget could be $1 billion. So this caller who says that he cannot raise the salaries for civil servants, Mr. Cummings knows math. And he is telling you he can raise the salary for civil servants. He can spend 30% of our budget on agriculture. Why? Because he will stop the stealing and the corruption and the waste that's happening. And another caller said that Mr. Cummings left the country. Mr. Cummings did not leave the country. Mr. Cummings has a house in Liberia. His house is on 19th Street. He has a whole building there that he built. But Mr. Cummings also is asked by major companies all over the world to come and consult them. He consults with major companies all over the world. So he travels for work. That's why he left. That's why he leaves sometimes. He also has his other businesses that he runs. So Mr. Cummings is a busy man, but he's also always returns to Liberia to live. So that is not true that he left Liberia after the election. So, as we said, Jefferson, it was a good show today. The calls were very good. I agree with the callers that we should give Mr. Cummings a try to change this country. And that's all I have for today, Jefferson.
Yeah, indeed. It has been a wonderful show. And of course, tomorrow, again, same time, Lib Future TV will be here on 95.9. My name is Jefferson Weah. Thanks for listening. And those who place through your calls as well, thanks for following us on Facebook as well. Always subscribe to Lib Future TV YouTube channel and Facebook. Go on Facebook, search Lib Future TV and follow the page and share the page. Invite others to follow as well so that you can see more of the activities here on 95.9. Have yourselves a blessed night.
Take me back to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
Lib Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.